What's up, Nerf Herders? This is Bootzilla.
This is Big Perm.
J-Bone.
And we're back. So we're going to talk about some stuff with the horror genre. We're going to do a series on here, just be random episodes. We're going to call them Ramble-ons. Today we're going to talk about the current state of horror. What's the difference with horror today versus what it was? Kind of like where the directors are with things. Where are they at with scare tactics, all this kind of stuff. We're all looking for horror movies. We all love horror movies. It's my favorite genre of film, and we're going to dive right into this bad boy here. So I'll let Perm start this off here. Article with John Carpenter came out, kind of discussing a little bit on where he feels the current state of horror is.
Yeah, so today I was reading that John Carpenter had a few choice words to say about the current state of horror, and it kind of got me thinking as to, what makes a good horror movie these days and what are the differences between, his era. Because obviously John Carpenter has made some of the greatest movies ever, especially with Halloween, like the classic, slasher movie, the classic babysitter stalker movie, right?
Yeah.
He went on record talking about The Walking Dead, and he basically just, to sum it up, explained that this idea has been reused and refurbished for the last, 40 years since Night of the Living Dead came out, George A. Romero, the classic zombie movie, and they've just milked it for 40, 50 years now. He went on to also talk about the remakes such as Poltergeist being kind of a cheap, addition to the horror genre. You're just remaking things that have already been done, but you're using cheap scare tactics now to make it more, I guess, with the times, but he still thinks it's a pretty cheap way to make a movie. And then he really just goes on to say, and he talked, I think he did this through Bloody Disgusting, but he went on to say that the horror genre needs a new beginning. So I thought that would be something cool to kind of ramble on about, talk about, what we think this current state of horror movies are.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. When we got to meet John Carpenter a couple of years ago now at Flashback Weekend in Chicago, I asked him in the Q&A, luckily got a question in, and that was my number one question. It's like, hey, man, you're an iconic horror director. You've been around for generations. You made some of the most iconic horror films ever. And, these are landmarks, dude. When people grow up and they tell their kids, these are the movies you need to see if you're going to be a horror fan. You've got so many that fall in that category. I was like, in the current horror films now, there's not a lot of films that are going to, quote-unquote, stand the test of time. I was like, from you having all these films that have stood the test of time already, what do you feel is a film that's going to be that film moving forward? And only movie that he mentioned, because, it was a very quick response, but he said, Let the Right One In, which is a phenomenal Swedish horror film. And it's really about, this little girl who's a vampire and befriends this little boy. And it's really the horror of this relationship that these young kids have between, a human and this vampire girl who's being taken care of by this old man and, getting blood for her and stuff. And it's not horror in the sense where, you're scared watching it. It's the psychological horror of it. And I think that's what John Carpenter really brought to Halloween. The psychological horror of, there's this masked man coming around to get you. It's terrifying. And it was expertly shot. And the music to it, the score is half the movie. If you have a crappy score, nothing. But you could almost have a shit movie with a great score that will make a movie good almost, because it's all about heightening that tension and stuff.
Yeah. Like Tron Legacy.
Yeah. Tron. I haven't seen Tron.
Yeah,
You haven't seen it?
No, dude, I still got to see both of those, actually.
Actually, you know what, though? The one with Jeff Bridges?
Yeah, Jeff Bridges, the new one.
I liked it, dude. I'm like, you know what? When it finished up, that was so many years ago now. I really liked it, though. I was like, wow, this is actually a really good movie. I don't know.
I never saw the sequel to Tron.
I never even saw Tron 1. I just jumped right into the sequel. I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, this is actually pretty cool. I'm digging it.
Pretty light.
Like you said, though, the soundtrack really hooked it, because after that movie was over with, I was like, I want to check out the soundtrack. And I did.
Yeah.
And it totally made the movie. You're right. It totally does make a movie.
For sure.
Yeah, it is so much, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think today, at least the horror movies that come out within our generation have just been... It's kind of like with everything with Hollywood. It's been, gotten that Hollywood touch, right? Where it's like we all just keep recycling the shit. And I think that's why the Scream movies were so successful, is because I think they realized that this is something that's pretty much done all over the place. So we need to just make a satire of it,
And done well too, to the point where people didn't really know at first it was a satire until like
Yeah.
they came out and like it's kind of a satire.
Exactly.
You know, like they did such a good job masking it, but still putting it right out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know, dude. Like, I kind of, man, it's crazy because you kind of see, like, where Hollywood takes it now. And they take it to where it's like, well, not really, I would say the last couple years now, they've taken it a little bit better of a direction. You know, The Conjuring, and even though Annabelle sucked and stuff like that, and, not The Shallows. I want to say The Shallows, not The Shallows. The one with the You Let Me See on Blu-ray with the chick that has the follower. Oh, It Follows.
It
Follows. I think that's up there with probably one of my favorites. I only saw it one time.
Masterpiece, dude.
Oh yeah, totally. Like you said, a psychological.
But I think that's
with
where
a great score too.
Yeah,
you start
Great
getting
score.
these movies that are more so independently done, that are really where the money is, or the best bang for your buck, if you know what I mean.
And that's the problem. Not a lot of people are going out and supporting these movies. You know, like It Follows, man. Like these movies are the movie that should be killing it at the box office, but they're not getting the proper backing because it's not the big studio or the big director behind some of this. They're more independent type films. But they're so much better. You know, one of the things like with Hollywood, it's like this cookie cutter horror genre
It
now.
is.
You know, it's like, all right, $15-20 million budget, right? To just churn and burn like the same rehash shit, which is just, all right, here's a story, jump scare, loud bangs, blah, blah, blah. You know, all these people go PG-13 movie, dude. So all the kids go, they make their money back. Even if the movie makes $100 million, they just made 5 times what they cost to make it.
Yeah.
You churn and burn that shit left and right, dude. And like, you know what I mean? Like you're profiting off of this because you're going to make your money because it's such a low budget.
And it ruins the genre itself. And then it leaves like a bad taste in your mouth for people who don't know the genre. They'll say, "Oh, horror." They'll think horror, and they'll think, "Oh, I saw this movie, this movie, this movie." I just think that horror is just jump scares and loud bangs, as opposed to like old school psychological. Like, God, dude, even Jaws, man, was like a psychological kind of like horror in a way.
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, when I think psychological, like, you know, I didn't see it until you showed me it, but Suspiria, like, holy shit,
man,
That
dude.
crazy.
Like, I had never
Score's really good.
I had
Score's
never
loud.
experienced that kind of, you know, psychological thriller before.
We had to turn the TV down several times because like the music was too loud.
Oh, it's like unsettling almost, and just like the color palette, dude. Like all the color, dude. Suspiria is a masterful horror film, but you try and show that to, you know, like a kid today, totally uninterested, man, because there's no attention span to allow yourself to like mentally dive into this, dude.
And that's
you just
just
want
it.
shit flying around.
And the key word where you just said the whole thing is attention span.
yeah, it's ADD horror films, dude. That's what I'm calling it. It's ADD horror films. That's what we've got now.
Patented it right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point I was going to bring up. I was kind of thinking about that when you were talking. Was like, do you think the current state of horror is just a reflection of the times? Like, we have young folks, because I mean, horror movies primarily appeal to like the 18 to 30 crowd. Probably like younger folks will enjoy horror movies more. Do you think that like the younger generations of these days, like the millennials and all that shit, like maybe like they're just cheap as fuck people who enjoy cheap as fuck movies? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I go online and I see these fucking people that I have friends with on Facebook and I share, you know, friends with, and I see them hyping these movies that are just god awful, and I'm like, who the fuck taught you like what a good movie is, and where did you learn this from, and how can you even enjoy this shit, you know? Like,
Yeah. Well, there's to me, there's nothing scary about loud noises. It doesn't work, man. It's like any movie, dude. It could be a love story. If you got a love story, right? And you're like watching like this sex scene, and it's just kind of like, oh, okay, and like things are just kind of chill, and out of nowhere, just like a bomb goes off next door, dude. Like that startles you, right? Like it's just kind of like you're kind of out of your element a little bit. You're just chill. Something goes off to startle you. That's not horror.
right.
You know what I mean? A perfect example, Chris Stuckman talked about this on his channel. This is a perfect example in Halloween, right? So you've got that segment where the chief of police, or where Loomis is like, you know, outside the Myers house, and the chief kind of walks up and startles him. There wasn't no like, huh! To like make that startle. Like it's almost just kind of like when it happens, you either just accept the scene for what it is, or maybe like the hair just stands up on the back of your neck for a second. It's like, okay, and you move on. But it's like that's a like an expertly crafted type of scene like that. You don't need the noise to do it.
They didn't put in the sound effect like the or like whatever like bass, synth pad they put in there to like make it like really like
Yeah. You need subtlety, man. A perfect example in a recent horror film, Insidious. I'm not the biggest fan of Insidious. I think the first half of that movie I was totally into, and it started to lose me a little bit as it went on. I didn't care for where it played out. There's one particular scene in that movie, though, dude, where Rose Byrne's character is walking through the house and stuff, and she goes and grabs laundry, and she walks past the door, and you wouldn't notice it unless you look for it, but there's like a ghost like boy standing there, and it almost just looks like it's part of the house, and there's nothing drawing attention to it. You're just following her, and it's there. And she goes outside, and all of a sudden, like, what's that song? It's like, like starts playing, and like there's this little kid, like, really like awkwardly dancing, but it's the same kid. You rewind the movie back about 30 seconds, that kid's standing there, and it's like, it makes the hair stand up where you see little things like that. You don't have to be like, wow, and draw attention to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think another really good crafted movie, and I know it got eaten alive through like the critics and shit, is a Halloween 3. I think Halloween 3 is awesome, dude. Like, I think it's got all the right ingredients, man. It's got like good storytelling, good acting,
great score.
Yeah, good score.
Score's killer in that movie.
Score is killer. You got like a good it's awesome, man. It's just I don't know. You can't really explain it. You know what I mean? You can't really explain that movie.
It's a very unique movie, and it's a total bummer that they didn't continue with that for the Halloween franchise, because the whole thing was supposed to be Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and that's it, dude. Michael Myers is dead. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, whatever. It's going to be a new Halloween-themed movie every year.
Yeah.
Which would have been a really cool gimmick, dude, to get like these original
kind of
Halloween-themed stories.
Like a Tales from the Crypt type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't get a lot of Halloween-themed movies, Like, the best one, dude, the best one since Halloween, to me, hands down, Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Quentin Tarantino making an anthology movie on Halloween. Like, that's what that felt like.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think, we get a lot of these jump scares. We get a lot of these movies that it's just doesn't seem like there's a legitimate story behind. And I think that was the one thing that made, like, horror movies in the 80s and 70s so superior in that regard, was it was so character-driven, so focused on, like, a legitimate story that made sense. You didn't have to worry about jump scares to make it scary because the story itself was fucking scary,
Yeah.
Like The Thing. I mean, that movie was so good.
If
you go back and watch
another
The Thing,
Carpenter classic.
It's a movie. It's like you don't even get like a big reveal, until like the end of the movie. And these days, it's like you get the reveal throughout the whole movie. It doesn't really set up a good climax or anything.
Yeah.
Into the Darkness, Children of the Damned and stuff, or Village of the Damned.
Village of the Damned. I mean, oh god, dude. Even like The People Under the Stairs, which I just recently saw last year, man.
Dude.
That movie was
classic,
so killer.
Oh, man.
It ends up being kind of like a little bit of a Goonies thing at the end,
Yeah,
dude,
a little bit. But.
Yeah, it's god damn it, dude. Wes Craven. Yeah, that movie. I love that movie. That was one of those movies, like, growing up as a kid, dude, that, like, it grabbed me immediately, man. Because it's like, not that all movies have to do this, but when you have, like, the little kid who's kind of like the hero of the story,
Who's your age at the time when you're watching the
exactly.
film.
You're following that, and that's why, Phantasm, dude. Like, I gravitated to Phantasm so much, man, because, like, I saw that when I was so young, and just kind of living that movie through Mike's character in there. It's like, dude, like, I feel like I'm this kid going through this story, and it sucked me right in. It's my favorite horror film franchise. Nothing will ever touch Phantasm, dude. It's the most original movie I've ever seen as far as horror is concerned. I love that, dude. Mm-hmm. But I mean, to your point that you kind of brought up as far as, like, are these movies catering to, like, today's generation and everything? Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge part of it. I think when it comes down to, like, we can make a cookie cutter movie for $20 million and they make their money, that's telling Hollywood that this is what people want, and they're just going to keep doing it, and they'll keep doing this until they're not making money anymore. The best way to get original movies out there is, like, people need to stop going and spending the money for this cookie cutter bullshit that, that it's a dime a dozen, I
think, too, that Hollywood sees it as, like, it's a system that works. Like, they know that people will, all you got to do is throw a couple trailers on YouTube, make them creepy enough, make sure that the likes are skyrocketing, unlike Ghostbusters, for instance, And then, you got yourself kind of like a winning campaign, and then people see it. And even if they make, say, $4 million or so, say the movie sucks, but they still make profit. They still made their money back and say an additional $4 or $5 million. They can say like, well, at the end of the day, it's not really a success, but it is a success. That's like their mentality. You know what I mean? Just like, well, yeah, like you said, we'll just churn and burn these fucking these bullshit fucking movies that people with low attention spans see, and you see them in these PG-13 movies in the theater, and it's like you hear these, people are ruining it in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when as soon as you get a soft spot, oh yeah,
roll, bitch, roll,
roll, bitch, yeah,
he gonna get you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's just like
I don't know, man.
it.
I think it's just fucking people are stupid, man.
But
like, I look at everything, like all pop culture and how it's like evolved over the years. I mean, look at comedies. Like comedies back in the 80s, like so much more clever. Even like kid comedies in the 90s
too.
Like Heavyweights. That movie was so damn clever, and it didn't rely on any kind of profanity or over the top bullshit. It was a fucking funny movie.
It almost
you look kid funny. You don't get those kid movies like that, like The Sandlot and The Goonies, Monster Squad.
Yeah. These days, you get comedy movies. It's like, if it's not Will Ferrell, it's fucking some other bullshit. Like,
it almost in that too. I'm gonna piggyback off that shit. It's like back then, it's like, okay, here's a script that we have, and these are your lines and stuff like that. But almost like they wanted to bring like the actor or bring the character out of the actor even more by letting them ad lib or letting them be themselves at certain points. You know what I mean? Like, you can almost see it when you're watching these old 90s kids films or something or whatever. As opposed to now, it seems like it's like if you deter off this like script, because this is what's funny. Like, this 2016, and the trends on the internet, on Google and Yahoo, say that this is what's funny on Twitter and hashtags and all this bullshit. It's like, so you gotta like, it's like, fuck all that, dude. It's like, sometimes that shit's not funny. You know what I mean? Like you said, like sometimes swearing all the time isn't funny. Sometimes when you're just watching, say, Chris Farley and David Spade do their thing, dude, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why you see such a huge like promotion for these, independent horror movies, at least on the internet. You see such a huge buzz for them because I think people truly understand that independent like level. People are just doing their thing, man, and they're not like overly supervised, and they're not having to cater to some fucking bigwigs in suits.
Exactly.
They're doing their thing, and they know exactly what they want to do, and who gives a fuck if it makes money or not? This is what we think is a good movie, and we're going to put it out,
I will say that one movie that really came out that rocked me, dude, hard was, I know a lot of people hate it, dude, but it was it's on the tip of my tongue, son of a biscuit, dude. It's God, dude, it's the guy and the girl from with the spirit, the devil spirit in the house.
Paranormal Activity?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, dude,
yeah, Paranormal Activity. Because I remember, when we saw it in theaters. We saw it in theaters, right? Yeah.
That first one was...
Yeah, the first one. And
wild.
I remember when there was, like, silent parts, because that movie is so captivating, right? It played, like, the psychological stuff. Yeah, they had some, like, boom, big bangs and stuff, but it was kind of, like, tastefully done. Like, you would expect the big bangs to happen, and if it was a big bang, you would expect a big bang to happen if you had like a devil spirit roaming your apartment. You know what I mean?
It played to the movie. It wasn't unnecessary noise. It was stuff that was part of the movie.
But like say this, like, oh yeah, true. And then you go to these silent moments, and you don't hear anybody going, "Yeah, run, bitch!" You don't hear any of that stuff because people respected it because it actually played with they fucking distilled fear into them. Into people. I went home that night and I was like, I thought somebody was behind me in my car, dude. Like it creeped me out, and I mean, I guess people could say the same thing back in the 70s when The Exorcist came out too. It's like, oh my God,
man, dude.
It's just, but then you look at what followed after Paranormal Activity and all the bullshit, like you said, because, dude, case in point, Paranormal Activity was done with what, like 2 college kids? And they're just like, well, here's this little budget. And all of a sudden, what, Steven Spielberg or somebody saw it? Some big dude saw it?
Well, it was made and they put something on the internet and then it was like, once it hits this amount, we're going to make it like a nationwide thing, right?
Well, it was like
Yeah.
it was kind of like a short thing that was put together, and like they were like, all right, we're going to turn this into something. So the way that they kind of got everything rolling with that, it was very like independently done. Like the Paranormal Activity franchise, as far as like dollars spent to dollars earned percentiles, most successful franchise in the history of film because of how cheap they made the movies and how much they profited.
It was like what, but like 18 grand or something, or they who knows?
The first one was so minuscule. It was like $35,000, I think.
You could take a loan out of a bank, dude, and then just.
Yeah. But it was crazy because they did the campaign thing. It's like, all right, well, select theaters are getting like this early thing, but it's like go on here and cast your vote. It was a beautiful marketing campaign. Got everybody hyped about it. They were showing like I think that was the first time that you were seeing like audience reactions of the theater stuff.
Yeah,
and the thing that was so cool about it, dude, watching those audience reactions and being in the movie. It wasn't this kind of shit like jumping or just like it was like the whole like sit back like. And just like watching people's eyes light up, dude, and just that breath, and that's what made the theater experience so intense.
The night vision mode, yeah.
Oh yeah, like when the camera's going, dude, you're just kind of watching and stuff, and you see that shadow come in the door, and it's not like you're not like jumping, dude. Just like the hair stands up, like when you're in a theater of like 500-600 people, dude, and everybody collectively is like at the same time, just like, oh my god,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
dude.
a total domino effect, and yeah. It's like they made the movie, they made their money, they sold it to whoever's studio, and Hollywood fucking ruined it, dude. They ruined it.
They milked that cow.
They milked it.
That cow had no more milk, and they were like, come on, goddammit, one more drip.
The cow was dead. It's just one. It's like, dude, just slaughter me for steaks, motherfucker. Yeah. And it's like, I don't have no more milk.
Then these Hollywood fucking bigwig, blood-sucking motherfuckers, they just know it, dude. They know what they have in their hand, and they're like, okay, we're going to milk this franchise, right? We're going to milk the shit out of it. And we also own the rights to these fucking comedy satire movies, and we're going to milk the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Fucking scary movie, all these things. We're going to make fun of these movies, and we're going to make fucking twice the money with it. God, and it's just like, oh my God, you were exhausting the shit out of this idea.
And guess what? They did. And they made their fucking money.
They still do it. Like, they still fucking do it. I mean,
because
The Conjuring 2.
Like us will see it, dude.
Conjuring 2, I enjoyed it. I thought it was inferior to the first one, but I'm worried that, like, okay, you've just made this really super successful horror franchise. The Conjuring was what, like one of the most successful horror movies of this like last 10 years.
Conjuring made bank too.
It made fucking bank.
I have a question. Now, was number 2? Could you see like the Hollywood stamp on it? Could you feel
that was
like
my problem with 2?
Yeah.
I felt like the first one was even though the first one was more of it's a Hollywood movie, dude. Like it's a big budget horror film, but that movie was kind of like contained to the house. Had a little bit of its liberties, but it relied on like real tension, dude. And James Wan really knows how to kind of like set up tension, and they didn't go too much over the top. The one the one over the top scene in there, maybe, dude, is like towards the end, and all of a sudden like all these birds are flying in, like running into the house. Like maybe that's a little too Hollywoody, They like maybe could have done without that. But I felt like there was a lot more of that kind of stuff in Conjuring 2, where like you build up the tension, kind of gets you under your skin a little bit. And then, like, as opposed to just, like, the creepiness going, it's like, nope, like, here's this scene, and to follow that up, now we're just going to, like, just exploit it, like the crosses. They got this room filled with all these crosses. Only scene I'll talk about. Quick spoiler if you don't want to hear it, but all these crosses are in this room, and one cross starts to, like, slowly flip upside down. That is subtle, and it's like, oh, man, okay, it's kind of eerie. But then all of a sudden, like a damn action film, all these crosses, like, next thing you know, like, 200 crosses, man, just all start like flipping upside down. It's like, well, that kills it.
Yeah, it ruins the special moment you had there.
I mean, the overusage of CGI in general with these movies is like getting out of hand too. It's like whatever happened to special effects, especially with horror movies, when you have these iconic people like running the special effects departments. Like, now you're just going to this digital bullshit. Like, save that shit for action movies, you know?
And it ruins the, like you said, remember that one image that showed episode 1 guys, the characters, and there's, like, in front of a green screen? Like, literally, you saw the green screen.
Yeah, they're all standing around in a green room.
It's in a green room.
Okay.
Yeah, all the overusage of CGI, especially for horror films, man, because it's like action films and all that, all the Marvel things, DC, whatever. It's like, yeah, dude, like, it's fun, blockbuster entertainment, like, you can look past it for the sake of the movie. When horror comes around and you're trying to get people like into this element, if you kind of like mix reality with like this shit that's like just super off the chain, not real, it kind of kills that scare factor. It's like, this is fake. I'm not feeling this. You know, like, just do it practical. You can. You just don't want to put the effort into it.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
It's very true. Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, that was my biggest concern with The Conjuring 2 was just the CGI. It was just too much, man.
There was some silly CGI that could have been avoided.
And I think that's something that we're seeing with a lot of these bigger budget horror movies, you know? It's just like, you guys need to step back and spend a little extra dough to make it like a practical effect, to make it mean more to me. Because when I see an action movie, I'm not going to an action movie to see how realistic it can be, because obviously it's not going to be a realistic movie. It's fucking action, you know?
Yeah.
It's Arnold shooting a fucking 1,000 guys and never getting hit. You know? It's not like something I'm like, oh my God, this is so real. But,
this is so real.
But horror movies, like, you need
it's still real to me, damn it.
Horror movies, you still need that real factor, because that's what makes it scary. Like, if it doesn't seem real, then why would you be scared of it, you know?
Yeah.
Let's drop a quick bomb on like a recent horror film, dude. There are a lot of good recent horror films, but dude, psychologically getting under your skin, dude. Session 9.
I never saw it.
Oh my God, that's right, Session 9, dude.
Yeah,
you showed me that. Holy fuck!
This is a must see.
I showed Bernice that, dude, and she was that was years ago. But yeah, she was like, I remember she was clinging on to me and shit. Fucking creepy, dude.
Dude, this movie.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, man.
dude.
I'll tell you, out of movies, dude, I've seen like horror movies under the sun, dude. The Exorcist to this day scares the piss out of me. Like, it's just terrifying.
Still,
yeah.
But if I could tell you one other movie, man, that like a lot of movies have creeped me out, but one other movie that really just kind of set with me in a very unsettling way was Session 9. It's a movie. Quick synopsis here. We have no spoilers at all with this. Definitely got to see this, dude. We need to watch this together.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies, you sit down and you watch it. You don't say a word. You don't leave your seat. You just watch it. And it's a very slow burn.
Stay off your phone.
Yeah.
You probably don't even want to eat fucking food, dude, because when you're chewing the food, you might miss out on fucking dialogue. That's like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to fucking...
No distractions. You watch the movie, you let this unfold. It's a movie that you need to allow yourself to kind of just like... get thrown into the movie. You know what I mean? You don't just watch it for entertainment. Like, you got to really get into this movie. It's a group of asbestos cleaners that go to clean out this old abandoned like psych ward, insane asylum type thing, right? And one of the workers, while cleaning one of these areas, stumbles across the room where they kept all the old like reel-to-reel tapes, and he starts listening to these sessions, and just that's all you need to know. It's one of the best psychological horror films, man, I have ever seen, and that movie, dude, is like horror done perfect. That movie will sit with you, and it will unsettle the shit out of you.
Yeah, I remember there were some scenes, dude, it was like, fuck, you could feel the tension, dude.
Oh,
damn! I'm thinking about. I gotta watch that movie
so
again,
good.
dude. It's so good.
Scream Factory is releasing it now, which I'm so stoked about, dude. Because like to get a DVD copy of this has been a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we had to download it. I had to or no, you have it, right?
I finally got like a foreign DVD copy of it. The Blu-ray is coming. They're not doing like their collector's edition release of it, but they're doing a Blu-ray release, man. And I'm jumping on that shit. Oh,
yeah, I need to pick that up, dude. I'll just pick it up, man. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, it's
I'll just pick it up, Malcolm.
It's a masterpiece.
Look at eyeballs. Eyeballs look like saucers, dude.
William Dafoe eyeballs, dude.
Bite the pillow. I'm going in dry.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
But it's like, and it's like all horror movies don't have to be like Session 9 or It Follows, dude, or Halloween or The Exorcist. They don't have to all be like that, dude, because there's a lot of fun horror movies, dude. Look at Friday the 13th, man. Those movies, dude, honestly, the good ones to me, the real good ones.
Freddy Krueger, too, Nightmare on Elm Street. That was pretty good.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah, dude. But like Friday the 13th, dude, Part 1, Part 2, Part 4, Part 7.
What, not Jason Goes to Hell, dude?
Dude, that movie's a pile of shit. But I think...
I remember watching it just for like the boob action, dude. I was just like young and stupid.
I think like 1, 2, 4, and 7, and like for me personally, Friday the 13th, like those are the good ones. You know what I mean? But it's like they're just slapstick, the same cookie cutter bullshit slasher films, dude. They all are. But the reason why you love them so much is because, like, you've got an iconic person in there like Jason Voorhees where it's like you just want to see him cause mayhem. And, like, it's entertaining. It's like the Hatchet series, dude. Like, you just love Victor Crowley, dude. You just want to see him cause mayhem. They don't have to be these expert horror films, you know? But we need memorable horror films.
Right. I mean, you got, like, Nightmare on Elm Street and, you know, Freddy Krueger and his character is awesome, but you know, you start watching those movies and you keep going along because you want to see like cooler and more original ways to die.
Exactly.
You know?
From that character that you love.
Yeah, and he's amazing, and you want to hear his one-liners, right? Like, you know, and I forgot which one it was, like Dream Warriors or whatever, where he takes the girl and he like shoves her head into the TV. He's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
Yeah.
Like, that's like the funniest fucking line ever.
Which is
me,
cool because that character like totally evolved over time. Way more serious in like the first two. Still a little bit quirky, but then by Dream Warriors, when the third one came, all of a sudden like it was way more jokative, way more slapstick. And then Wes Craven, dude, comes and flips us all on our asses, dude, with a new Nightmare.
Yeah.
And gosh diddly yarn, dude. What a awesome
Gosh diddly yarn.
Gosh diddly yarn. My oh my.
That movie was good, man.
Dude, what a beautiful way to take that character and make him terrifying again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We started rooting for Freddy, just like, oh yeah, fucking Freddy. And like it was just like people were all into like Freddy Krueger, not scared of him, just like you're just a badass icon. And then a new Nightmare came, dude, and he made him a scary character again. You know, so cool. It was such an expert script, dude. I loved how they did the script for that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like you said, it doesn't need to be. You know, there's no standard that needs to be set for horror movies, and that's what's like beautiful about it is you have. That's why I love all these independent movies, is because you have so many independent movies that come out, and they're so different. Like VHS, you know.
Oh yeah.
Not all of the sequences of VHS 1, 2, or 3 are good, but it's a cool idea.
What was your favorite
the
one?
good ones are
First one?
good. The first one.
My favorite one.
I like the one where the person was like stalking the people sleeping, and he like
like that
filmed
that
them.
smut film type
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
the hotel.
That one fucked with me because
that
I was
one
like,
fucked with me too.
because I'm just like, I don't want to close my eyes and go to sleep right now because what if someone's fucking in my house, right?
Yeah.
Or with VHS 2, man, that fucking cult one in the Japanese cult.
Oh yeah, that was
Holy
awesome,
shit,
dude.
that was so cool. I mean, just like the zombie one, man. That was a clever fucking way to make
with
a
the
zombie
GoPro?
movie, dude.
Oh,
with the
super
GoPro
cool.
camera, you know. But even like those,
the birthday party and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yay!
Yeah. But like, what's his name? Ty West, making
Dude, Ty West, man, that
like
guy's
the
a force.
Innkeepers, dude. The Innkeepers is like one of my favorite ghost stories.
Oh,
Ever.
so
The Innkeepers.
well
I
done.
forget what was that one about again. I think I saw it.
That's what that hotel that's closing down, and like the two people working there, they kind of have their own like little ghost investigation thing going on. And you've got like the last couple of tenants, you know what I mean? Like this is the last night of the hotel, like this, this hotel that everybody has grown. It's like a historic landmark, and like shit starts to get real.
Yeah, or House of the Devil, like we were talking about earlier.
Oh
man.
my god, that's
Holy
another
shit,
good one.
that was like a heart attack, dude.
That
Like,
movie, dude.
Oh my god.
Talk about an hour and 20 minutes of slow burn, dude, for like a 30-second payoff, dude, that like just owned it, dude.
yeah,
Owned it.
literally a 30-second payoff. Yeah. Fuck, that's a good
Yeah.
movie, dude.
But like it's
Yeah.
like he's one guy. Who
I never
has
saw The
so many
Innkeepers.
cool original ideas that
classic,
fall in
dude.
line.
It's great.
Another one that I enjoyed. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I thought it was good, man. It left like a weird thought in my mind. Was The Sacrament?
I dug the Sacrament.
I didn't think
dude.
it was horrible.
Not his best.
It
but,
wasn't his best,
but
but
solid.
When it was over, and man, like the end, that in sequence where everyone's taking the cyanide or whatever, and the alarms are going off, and I was just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it was.
It
was very
you just
disturbing.
got a very disturbing ending to that, and I loved it. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like people, I guess to summarize what I think about everything is just, I think people need to start supporting this independent horror and try and push this to the forefront. Start making these movies legitimate.
Almost got to mold. You know what I mean? Like it sucks, but it really kind of comes down to how Hollywood supports some of these movies
Right.
because. Horror fans, people that are looking for these gems and stuff, dude, like they're out there, dude. It's not like every horror film that's coming out is a total pile of shit. There are good horror movies coming out. It's just the vast majority of these movies that are getting the limelight and like getting all the attention drawn on them are these shit horror films that just they're a dime a dozen. It'd be nice for a movie, like It Follows, to get the push that it really deserves. And, that's a movie that could warrant sequels. You know what I mean? And if you could do them solid, you could have them do solid sequels. Now, it doesn't mean it's necessary, but the filmmaker that did that obviously has some original ideas. I can't wait to see what some of these people do again. But they deserve a big push. Put the movie out there. Let's get these movies making some money so we can get more of them.
Right. And my only worry is that, with more money comes more problems and more of the Hollywood thought process,
Yeah.
Like, I would hate to see Hollywood just take over one of these independent franchises and face fuck it like they did
With
Paranormal,
yeah.
And then you have these assholes like Rob Zombie who, like...
I think he's losing touch, dude.
They just can't stop. They cannot stop.
He's an exploitation filmmaker, man. That's kind of what it's come to.
Yeah.
It's smut films.
It is. At the end of the day, it's like, this is the most unnecessary shit. Like, I loved House of a Thousand Corpses. Fucking loved it. Devil's Rejects, I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought parts of it were just super unnecessary in the way of, like, his ideas for what should make a horror movie. And then, you get hit with Lords of Salem, which I thought was just like, ugh, just awful, fucking awful movie. And then his Halloween remakes. And I'm just, they keep giving this motherfucker money. And I don't know why. Because he's not putting out anything that's, like, coherent, It's just random gore and tits and ass.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. No,
I don't know why he keeps on going back to, like, the scary clown, like, circus freaks. I'm over that shit, dude. I want something...
He's just so one-dimensional. He's a very one-dimensional filmmaker. It's all about, like, how far can he push the limits. It's like, it's not just like, hey, fuck you. It's like, hey, fuck you while I see your grandkids licking my ass, you son of a bitch. And like, but saying this all while the guy's covered in period blood. Like,
Right.
It's just like how far he likes to be a boundary pusher. He likes to push boundaries, and I think that kind of like deteriorates from like what he could do in his movies because he's just so focused on like what's visually on screen, dude. Like Zack Snyder type shit, dude. Like so focused on what's visually on screen and like how memorable is it going to really be as far as like the story.
Yeah, shit. I got a movie for you. The fucking Descent, dude.
Man,
The Descent's a good movie.
The Descent's awesome. Descent's an awesome movie, dude. Another one, man, that's totally... Do you know what, dude? That movie kind of came and went so fast, too.
The Descent?
Yeah, it's like you don't hear anyone talk about that. And they made a sequel to that movie, too.
I
that was
they made a
straight to
sequel.
DVD, man. And it was a pretty solid sequel,
And it
dude.
was a really good sequel, yeah.
It was good.
It
Yeah.
literally picked off where the first one ended.
Here's another one, dude. Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers
Jeepers
yeah.
Creepers 1. Fucking awesome, dude.
Which is
Jeepers
kinda
Creepers
weird.
2, still pretty solid, dude. And now the third one's finally coming.
Yep.
Which is weird because of that director's, like,
Sexual shit.
yeah, he's a pedophile.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. Give that guy money, dude. Let him make movies.
They almost said, too, like Jeepers Creepers and the name down to like the Jeeper Creeper guy
Yeah.
kind of stalking these younger kids is kind of like a weird symbolic representation of the director. Like he's a little Jeeper Creeper and he's stalking these little kids. I swear to God, dude, like they started putting these pieces of the puzzle together. Like, holy fuck, this guy's fucking sick. Like in the head, fuck this guy. You don't give him any more money for movies, and they gave him fucking money for Jeepers Creepers 3. Which, you know what? Fuck it, because I've been waiting for a fucking trilogy, dude.
Yeah,
the way that second
forever
one
for
ended,
this.
where he's just sitting there and the fucking waiting. He's old. He's a fucking old man. He's like, "Come alive, bitch!" And he's ready to fucking harpoon his ass. And then it
And
never.
Ray Wise, dude, is such a cool actor, man. He's one of those guys that just pops up here and there. I love that guy, man.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that. I'm also waiting for some more
That's
some more
harpoon.
work from Adam Green, man. Adam Green, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude.
he's had a few like kind of ups and downs recently as far as what he's put out, I think. But man, those Hatchet movies, man.
Oh, they're killer, dude.
Hooked for life.
The Hatchet films,
Hooked
dude.
for life.
Frozen
was
Spiral.
awesome.
All solid films,
I only saw
dude.
Frozen that one time, and I remember you showed me it, and I remember you telling me about it, and I was like, you know, and then you're like, no, dude, we gotta see it. It was at your dad's, remember?
Yeah.
And we're like, we watched it, and I was like, kind of a slow burn. And then like when you started understanding what was going on, oh, dude, so good, dude. It was really good.
Frozen's tight, dude, and like he recently put out Digging Up the Marrow. Dude, it was such an awesome concept, dude. Like this guy that Ray Wise again, who like believes in these monsters and everything, and he's just like psychotically like involved in catching these things and seeing them. And he knows where they're coming out at night. All this stuff, dude, and like Adam Green starring in his own movie. You know what I mean? Like the filmmaker as himself going to go like document this, and you know, shot in very like like first person and everything. Such a cool idea, and the thing that pissed me off about that movie, dude, so much is like they were kind of setting the ground for a serious tone, and like I was really kind of buying into the movie. I was like, all right, like maybe it's not gonna be terrifying, but I'm buying into the seriousness that they're trying to put out. And then all of a sudden, dude, Adam Green went to like his normal, just like quirky comments and just like Adam Green humor, and I'm like, dude, you completely either like just didn't give a shit and you ruined everything you set up, or you were so scared that people weren't going to buy the seriousness that you're like, well, I'm going to fall back and make it humorous because that's just what I do. It's like, I wish you would have just stuck to what you were going for, man, because it looked like they were on a path and at some point they got scared and like, all right, we got to back out and make this kind of comedic. Really kind of bummed me out about that movie.
Yeah, I agree. I was buying into it too, and yeah, like you said, it's just like there's these parts of the movie that are so damn serious, so damn like captivating, and then he makes little comments, little fucking like joke humor, sarcastic remarks, and it's like, would you really say that in real life, Adam? Would you really fucking say that in real life? I don't think you would. Like, and that just takes me out of the moment, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm done. I'm over this. You know?
Yeah, it was a bummer for that too. But I mean, Adam Green, dude, he's one of those guys to keep an eye on, man, because like he knows how to do it fun, and Frozen was not a fun movie, dude. Frozen was a very serious movie, so the guy knows how to make it serious and make it interesting to watch three people on a ski lift for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he knows how to do it. It's just like can't wait to see everything else that he continues to do for us.
I mean, you got Adam Green, you got Ty West, you got the guy who did Conjuring.
Yeah,
I mean,
James
you got these guys that are like, they know what they're doing, right? Like they know like how to set it up and how to deliver the climax and how to crescendo down into like, you know, ending the film properly for a horror movie and stuff. But it's like man, it sucks, dude. Like it just goes back to this Hollywood shit again. You know, it just goes back to like, well, you know, like it's like they don't get the I mean, The Conjuring, yes, okay, whatever. But it's like these other ones too, like you know, like Hatchet and stuff, or even like Frozen. It's like they never remember Hatchet had like a limited release. Or Hatchet 3.
Hatchet 2, we had to drive to Milwaukee to see that shit, remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were like
Barrington.
West Bend, right? We were like a little bit northwest of Milwaukee. We drove like an hour and a half, and like the next day they pulled it from theaters.
Yep. Yeah,
and because it's like AMC did the limited release, and then they pulled it because they're like, this is too violent. It's like, this is a slapstick, like bullshit, just fun horror film, and like you've got some fucked up shit, dude, that's like in other movies, dude, and it's like no problem. It was such a bummer, dude.
Yeah, I remember that.
But thank God we saw it in theaters, though.
Yeah, because, well, first off, number one, weren't people walking out on that movie? There was a couple walkouts during that time. And then two, didn't they, like, release, like, some sort of edited version that wasn't as slashy and gory and shit?
No, they had just that unrated. That was the whole thing. It's like AMC's going to allow an unrated movie to be in their theaters. So it was like kind of like the whole gimmick to like get in that movie release.
Right? Or
was
it?
Okay.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, you're right. NC-17. Yeah.
I remember because we were walking up there, and I
don't even know how the hell that
dude.
movie gets that kind of a rating. It's like,
yeah,
it's so slapstick. There's so much worse shit that they put in theaters, dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Way worse. Because it has a serious tone to it. You go watch, like, The Strangers, right? Maybe not as much gore in that movie, but the seriousness of just, like, torturing people compared to, like, a ghost guy running around with a hatchet and everyone's just like, ha, tits and ass, cut. Like, come on, dude, you know?
Right.
Yeah, right. The Strangers, I remember that. That was okay, I guess. But, what was, I forget what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. As soon as you said The Strangers, I was on to another movie that was like right there. I don't remember, but anyways, I lost my shit. But whatever, man.
Another good one that we haven't touched on too, that of recent, awesome psychological and just allowing yourself to get into the Babadook.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That was going to mention.
There we go.
The Witch, dude.
Oh, the Witch.
Yeah.
I actually
Babadook? Witch.
Go on with the Witch. I got a story on the Witch.
Well,
too.
we talked about it like a couple weeks ago how I thought it was okay, because and the reason I say okay is because the whole shit was creepy, but I can't understand it. I couldn't fucking stand a word they were saying, dude.
Yeah. Come over here, understand my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, Grandpapa.
Yeah.
You the witch, you the witch, the witch, the witch.
Yeah. I couldn't understand a fucking word they were saying, dude.
I
I
just
just
had
had
the
to
fucking closed captions on, dude.
Yeah.
Like an old ass man.
Yeah, I couldn't.
His voice was really deep too, man.
Go into the forest.
But the payoff at the end was fucked up. It was creepy. It was wild.
Yeah.
What were you saying about what was the movie?
Well, no, real quick on The Witch here too before we jump into Babadook land.
Oh, Babadook. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I saw The Witch, dude, I was so entranced by it. And then, not that the movie lost me. It was one of those movies. Like when I got done watching it, I was just like, all right, it was good. Wasn't quite what I expected, but I really didn't know I didn't know how I felt about it. You know what I mean? I was very indifferent. So time has taken its course now, and I'm like, I really want to watch this again. Like I feel like it's one of those movies. Let it sit in for a little bit. When you go back and watch it again, it's just gonna hit. So I ended up buying it today. I went and bought it today because I want to see the damn movie again.
Could you understand what they were saying? I couldn't understand. I mean,
for the most part, but there definitely were parts where I was a little bit
like Old English word terminology and shit. I mean, because it's supposed to be like a period piece, man. It's supposed to make you feel like you're straight up
1600s.
Yeah,
using words that we're not familiar with. Us
beautifully done though, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow! As far as like the set and costumes, like man, dude, did it feel real?
It reminded me of that stupid, retarded M. Night Shyamalan film, The Village.
The Village.
It reminded me of The Village. I had this
I like The Village.
I liked it too.
I remember.
Well, the ending like pissed me off more so just because it was like, God damn it, you made it fucking hard.
Because it's a one-hit wonder at that point. It's like, well, I already know what's going to happen. There's just secluded, fucking unrestricted fly zone fucking place. But yeah, I had this weird village thing with it. But no, the Witch, like I said, man,
or the Vavitch.
Yeah, the Vitch.
The Vavitch.
I mean, if I can watch it again with some subtitles on, then fuck it, dude. I'm all game. It was good, dude.
And like going back to like the Babadook, like, oh, God, that movie was fucking awesome, dude.
Dude, that to me, that's one of them stand the test of time films, dude. Easily.
Yeah, Babadook was really good. I've been starting to like kind of get away from like the kids being like the main, like, how do I say? Like, only the kid can see the weird shadowy figure in the corner. And the mom's like, what do you see? I'm like, all right, I've seen enough of that. Like, show me something like It Follows. Like, that totally grabbed me, dude. Or something, a little bit more adult. Or maybe like an older teenager or a young adult. Or maybe, like The Conjuring had a little bit of, with the two main guys, main people. Plus, it was based on true events.
Well, I was going to say, that's something you would love about The Conjuring, too. That's one aspect of that movie I love, dude. It wasn't the whole, like, stuff is happening. It's just like, whatever, and, like, pushed off, dude. It's like stuff happens, and immediately the whole family is, like, 100% deep into it. The neighbors get involved and stuff. It's a very real setting, dude, where it's not like, listen, this ain't no Pinocchio bullshit. It's happening. Thank God we don't got to go through an hour of, like, unbelievable stuff. Like, we're all here. We see it. Good. I love how they established that in the second Conjuring. Even the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm kind of at with that like whole with that now. I mean, like I'm kind of over like the little kids like being like the only like the gateway to this shit happening, or like I'm just I mean, it's good. Some of it's really good. Don't get me wrong. Like it's done well.
That was a huge. I think that was just a huge thing about like older horror movies was kind of like, the parents don't listen to the kids, and the kids are the ones who know what's going down.
Yeah, total horror movie trope for sure. And I think a lot of the kids too, man, like of recent day, it's so hard to find like good kid actors. Conjuring 1 and 2 had excellent
really
young
good. Yeah,
kid
really
actors,
good.
dude. Like which made that's why it's way more believable. You can get behind like these kids in the fear. They just did such a good job with that stuff. But yeah, it's really hard to find kid actors. They don't even have to be good actors, but just believable. You look at like dude, Poltergeist, man. I swear to God, dude, the kids in Poltergeist, it felt so real and natural. Like, how did you get, I can't think of her name now. Wow, dude, I can't think of the kid's name. Mary Jo Beth Williams. I don't even know why it's coming to mind. I can't even think of her name. But the little girl in there, dude, so believable in everything that's going on in that movie, dude, because she's acting just like a kid would naturally act, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a thing of art, dude, when, like, the kids are believable. If the kids suck, the whole movie fails. Like, immediately, you know?
Jo Beth Williams?
Jo Beth Williams, yes. I don't know why I said Mary Jo Beth, but yeah, Jo Beth Williams. But yeah, dude, like, Poltergeist is a perfect example. And I'm not even, like, a huge Poltergeist fan. Like, I like Poltergeist. I appreciate it for what it is of its time and everything. It's a good movie, but to me, it's not, like, my favorite horror film. Like, it's super dated. Like, if you didn't grow up with it, you're not going to appreciate it the same way seeing it in your later years. But, I mean, still, dude, like, it's like the classic haunting story.
I think John Carpenter and a lot of those iconic directors really just had a knack for hiring these kids that could do it, man.
Yeah, and knew how to work with them the right way.
Village of the Damned.
Yeah, and work with them.
I mean, even
exactly.
look at, like, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Like, that kid was just so goddamn, like, freaky, dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
But, like, all those kids, in all those iconic horror movies, like, the kids were always just so good back then. And it's like, these days, you have these little shitheads running around, they suck,
Oh,
or
yeah.
for the most part. Most kids I see in movies these days, they're not necessarily all horror movies, but just in general, I think they're just awful actors.
Oh, yeah.
And for whatever reason, that something has changed over the past 10 years where it's like, however they're teaching these younger kids how, like, acting goes, they're just not.
Or it's just, it's just lazier filmmaking and stuff, too,
Yeah,
The Babadook's a perfect example. Like, that little kid in that movie, dude, first half of the movie, you want to strangle him.
Mm-hmm.
But the kid's doing his job right, though. You're supposed to, like, be like, Jesus, dude, how is this mother dealing with this little bastard?
Shut up, you little snot-nosed brat.
That's how you're supposed to feel about that kid. So it's like the kid's doing his job exactly the way he should be doing his job. Yeah. And then, like, the dynamics and the character change, and the arc that kid goes throughout the movie, that's a lot for a little kid to pull off, man, where you're kind of like, yeah, dude, I totally buy into this, That's a hefty load.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a mixture of, like, lazy filmmaking mixed in with, like, almost, and plus you're putting these kids sometimes in, like, green screens, and it's like you have to tell them, like, okay, little Johnny, imagine, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. When back then, dude, you had special effects. This shit was in your face, dude. It's, it's way different now, dude. It's like the days of, like, doing the 90s and the 80s films and all that stuff, like, it's over with, like, it's what it is. Now it's like these jump scares, and, Hollywood wants you to think that it's all jump scares because it's the big budget shit that gets pushed most of the time. But then you got these, like, underground ones that are fucking phenomenal, like Session 9. Holy fuck. That movie is really good.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, it's just a shame, dude. It's like, I don't even know where the only way, like, this shit can kind of, like, break away from, like, what they've been doing Hollywood-wise, and then, like, kind of, like, letting it, get away from, like, the PG-13 shit and having these kids fucking ruin film for you in the theaters. Have it, like, rated R or whatever. And then, I don't know, man. Like, have somebody fucking convince somebody who knows somebody in Hollywood to be like, yeah, okay, you're fucking on plan. Like, here's your big budget shit. Kind of like a Paranormal Activity. You know what I mean? In a weird way, but it's like you almost... Is something like Paranormal ever going to happen again? Like, is something like that ever going to happen again? You know what I mean? Where you get, like, these couple groups of college kids coming in and just fucking wrecks house.
I mean, I think times are changing, obviously, with the, progression of technology. And I think right now is probably the best opportunity for independent horror to succeed is right now. Because theater ticket box office sales are at an all-time low. For, like, historically speaking, like, a weekend, an opening weekend was always used to be just, like, a massive thing. I mean, you see pictures in Google Images of releases from the 70s and 80s with the line down the fucking street, right?
Yeah.
Shit don't happen these days. you're lucky if you get like sold out shows, like with a Marvel movie or something like that.
Hence the $5 Tuesdays to promote.
But they're struggling to bring in money. I mean, I know this Round Lake Theater is struggling to bring in money.
Mm-hmm.
With all the streaming these days, like, and Blu-ray, I mean, eventually hard physical media is going to be gone. It's going to be gone. It's going to be fucking all digital, all streaming, and that's the best.
That's the best horror movie ever, dude. I just hope that shit don't happen.
Oh.
I love my physical media, dude.
Well, me too. I love physical copies of shit. I mean, I love to buy Blu-rays. I have to have the physical copy.
It'll get to a point where it's almost like obsolete, and it'll cost them too much to even make it.
Well, what I'm more so trying to get at is like now you're giving a platform for the odds to come back down, right? Because independent movies are never going to have the odds of getting in theaters all the time. So as less movies are in theaters in general, more competition online, you're going to have more of these avenues for independent directors to put their shit out online, right?
Which is true.
I mean, and then you have these companies like Scream Factory and
Arrow Video's another big one.
Right. Anchor Bay, like they're putting out like really good stuff on Blu-ray, allowing these independent filmmakers to have, competition within that. So
Which
I think
is great
right now,
to have companies, man, because it's the word of mouth for independent film and all that stuff, dude, because of social media and all that stuff, the internet. It is very easy to get stuff out there. It's just got to get it to more people, man. We got to find ways for like people in the horror community and all this. Some of these filmmakers, dude, as much as it is, some people are like, oh, I love the fact that it's like not very well known and like it's my little secret. Like that's great and all, dude. Like we've all got those movies, we've all got those things in life, but some of these filmmakers, man, they really, really deserve to be in the limelight, dude. Adam Weingart. Touch base on this for 2 seconds before we wrap this up. Adam Weingart, dude, You're Next, phenomenal, dude. The Guest, even better. And now he's got a new movie coming out this year called The Woods, and I cannot wait because this guy just knows how to make damn good movies.
Yeah, You're Next, dude. I think that's
that was the movie with the.
We went out for your birthday, dude, to the theater after the casino.
Remember the guys with the masks terrorizing the house?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Trying to kill the girls.
Yeah, there's
the family itself.
I thought that was The Strangers.
And then The Guest. I mean, The Guest. Fuck, man. The first time I saw The Guest, it was off of just a random thing online. I just saw people posting about it randomly, and I just was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna buy this movie. Bought it. I was like, holy fuck,
dude, it's amazing.
It's not even a horror movie. It's just fucking
just
tense
like
and
psychological
action,
thriller,
psychological thriller. Yeah, it was so fucking good, man.
Yeah, Adam Weingart, man. I'm sure we're gonna have another discussion about this, and we can maybe get some name drops out there. But if I can drop one right now, check out Adam Weingart and what he's doing because the guy's phenomenal. He's doing shit right for sure. That's gonna wrap it up for now. I think we're gonna revisit this at some point just to kind of go over some more stuff. Maybe ramble on later on, kind of touch base on some more things, but. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Make sure you check us out on Facebook.com/NerfHerdersPodcast, YouTube.com/NerfHerdersPodcast. We're going to start posting more on there, keeping it a little more interactive. But let us know, guys. Comment either on the Spreaker page or comment on our Facebook. Let us know, some of your favorite horror movies. What are some of the things that you look forward to most in horror? Are there any new horror movies coming out that you're looking forward to? And that's going to wrap it up, guys. Again, I am Bootzilla.
I'm Big Perm.
J-Bone.
Thank you guys again for tuning in to the Nerf Herders Podcast. We will see you all next week.